Now, you may have seen some articles flowing around the internet about a parallel universe where time runs backwards. And if you're like me, where you didn't actually click into any of them because you're lazy to read it, just watch this short video and learn all about it. And of course, it was centered around a research discovery. This research was in Antarctica called ANITA, which stands for Antarctic Impulsive Transient Antenna. This experiment centers around a stratospheric balloon, which essentially means a balloon 37,000 meters high, and it has a radio antenna pointed back to the Earth, which is to detect radio waves emitted by high-energy neutrinos when they strike an atom in the ice. Now, if you had no idea what I meant when I said the word neutrino just now, then this is for you. Neutrinos are tiny, almost weightless subatomic particles. They also barely interact with matter, making them extremely hard to detect. Around 100 billion neutrinos are passing through every square centimeter of your body right now, but you can't even notice it. Of course, there are some ways to detect neutrinos. The key is that low-energy neutrinos don't interact with matter, but extremely high-energy neutrinos do. One way to do this is using a tank of water. We know how fast light should be traveling in the tank. It should slow down through water. Now, if a high-energy neutrino were to hit an electron, then this electron would travel the water much faster than this light. The biggest neutrino detector in the world is this stratospheric balloon that I mentioned before, as it uses the entire ice sheet below it as its tank of water. An important thing to note is that for the most part, neutrinos are still a mystery to scientists. So in 2016, ANITA found some anomalous results. After its first flight, it only detected some background noise. A year later, after its second flight, it was the same story once again. But during its third flight, the scientists decided to go over their previous data once again. They went through all the signals they had previously dismissed as background noise. This is where they found evidence of a high-energy neutrino coming up from the Earth's surface with no apparent source. To be clear, this should not be happening. Neutrinos should be going downwards, but what they noticed was instead exploding out of the ground. According to a New Scientist article, explaining this signal requires the existence of a topsy-turvy universe, created in the same Big Bang as our own, and existing in parallel with it. In this mirror world, the positive is negative, left is right, and time runs backwards. Following this result, scientists at the IceCube Neutrino Observatory tried to find out what could be the source of these neutrinos. Since this observatory has 5,160 optical detectors in the ice, IceCube should have detected many events similar to ANITA's one anomalous event, but they didn't, which means that these neutrinos didn't come from a point source. So now you may be asking me, so what do the results mean? Essentially, we don't know what they mean. They concluded that we don't have an explanation for these results yet. After 4 years from the observation in 2016, scientists still can't explain it using the physics that we currently have. They've used words such as an astrophysical explanation of these anomalous events under standard model assumptions is severely constrained, regardless of source spectra. And they even mentioned new physics. Now, a possible explanation could be that it is the ice itself that is leading to these anomalous events. Another one is the theory of a parallel universe. Now, I hate to break it to you, but all the articles you saw just now were primarily clickbait. The theory of a parallel universe came from the fact that neutrinos should be going down from space rather than upwards. The theory argues that the two universes were formed at the Big Bang, one which from our perspective time is running backwards as the particles flow in the other direction. However, the actual evidence behind this theory is severely lacking. One of the lead authors of this research paper also took to Twitter in order to recount his side of the events. He was criticizing the tabloids for distorting his research paper and also name-dropped the New York Post for their largely misconceiving article. Now this shows that you should actually click into every article you see instead of just simply believing that there's a parallel universe out there. Now this also shows that our understanding of neutrinos is still super limited and there's so much more physics waiting to be discovered. Sure, parallel universes sound cool, but there are many other possible explanations for these observations. This is a prime example to use the Sagan standard, which is extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. Now, the extraordinary theory of a parallel universe may be right, but at this point we simply lack the evidence required to accept it. Thanks for watching and make sure to check out all our other videos.